Today we're talking about Tammanna Bhatia's performance in Lust Stories 2. When the anthology released on Netflix, one particular segment immediately caught people's attention. Not just because of the bold theme, but because of the emotional depth Tamannaah brought to the character. For many viewers, this role felt different from what they usually expect from Tamannaah. We have seen her in big commercial films, glamorous dance numbers, and large-scale entertainers. But in Lust Stories 2, she appears in a much more raw, intimate, and character-driven space. And that's exactly what makes this performance interesting to analyze. The story focuses on complex relationships and human emotions. Instead of loud drama, the narrative moves through subtle moments, expressions, and silence. And in such stories, the actor's performance becomes the most important element. From the very first scene, Tamannaah's character feels grounded and realistic. Her expressions are natural, her body language feels authentic, and the emotions come across without exaggeration. That's not an easy balance to achieve. In many performances, when actors try to portray vulnerability or intimacy, it can sometimes feel forced or overly dramatic. But here, Tamannaah keeps the performance controlled and believable. One thing that stands out immediately is her eye expressions. Throughout the story, a lot of emotion is communicated without dialogue. Small changes in her expressions reveal what the character is thinking or feeling. This kind of subtle acting requires confidence because the camera captures every small reaction. Another important aspect of the performance is the chemistry between the characters. In relationship-driven stories, chemistry can make or break the narrative. Here, the interactions feel natural and unscripted, which helps the audience connect with the characters. Instead of focusing only on dramatic moments, the story also includes quieter scenes where the characters are simply talking, reacting, and processing emotions. Tamannaah handles these moments with impressive restraint. Her performance never feels rushed. She allows the character to breathe within each scene. Another interesting thing about this role is the shift in Tamannaah's screen image. For years, audiences associated her with glamorous roles and commercial entertainers. But projects like Lust Stories 2 allow actors to explore completely different sides of their abilities. And this performance clearly shows that Tamannaah can handle layered, character-driven roles just as effectively. One of the biggest strengths of her acting in this segment is emotional authenticity. When the story moves into more vulnerable moments, she doesn't overplay the emotions. Instead, she uses minimal gestures and expressions to communicate what the character is going through. This approach makes the scenes feel much more realistic. You feel like you're watching real people dealing with complicated emotions rather than actors performing a scripted scene. Another detail worth noticing is the pacing of her performance. In anthology stories like Lust Stories 2, each segment has limited time to develop characters and emotions. So actors have to establish their character quickly while still keeping the performance believable. Tamannaah manages to do that effectively. Within just a few scenes, the audience understands the character's personality, emotional state, and motivations. That's a sign of a well-crafted performance. The cinematography and direction also play a big role in supporting the acting. Many scenes use close-up shots, which means the actor's facial expressions become extremely important. And in those moments, Tamannaah's performance feels confident and controlled. Instead of relying on dramatic dialogue, the storytelling allows the actors to communicate through expressions and reactions. This style of filmmaking demands strong acting skills, and Tamannaah rises to that challenge. Another aspect people discussed widely after the release was the boldness of the role. But beyond the headlines and discussions, the real takeaway from this performance is how convincingly she portrays the emotional complexity of the character. It's not just about being bold, it's about making the character believable. And that's where her performance succeeds. By the time the story reaches its emotional turning point, the audience already understands the character's internal conflict. So, when the narrative reaches those key moments, the emotions feel earned rather than forced. That emotional connection is what makes the performance memorable. In many ways, Lust Stories 2 gave Tamannaah an opportunity to break away from typical film roles and explore more mature storytelling. And performances like this often help actors redefine their career image. Instead of being seen only as a commercial film star, they start being recognized as versatile performers who can adapt to different genres and storytelling styles. So overall, Tamannaah's performance in Lust Stories 2 stands out because of three main factors. First, the natural and subtle acting style. Second, the emotional authenticity she brings to the character. And third, the confidence to step into a role that is very different from her usual on-screen image. When all these elements come together, the result is a performance that sparks conversation and leaves a lasting impression. And that's exactly what happened with Lust Stories 2. Now I want to know your opinion. What did you think about Tamannaah's performance in Lust Stories 2? Did this role surprise you compared to her previous films? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy movie performance breakdowns and reaction analysis like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more cinematic discussions.